New York Times has reported that NASA's Curiosity rover on Mars has discovered startlingly high amounts of methane in the air. Existence of methane may be the indication of existence of life on Mars. It could be a sign of microbes living on the red planet today. But NASA has not yet officially announced about the possibility of aliens living on Mars. An associate administrator from NASA's Science Missions Directorate has tweeted his opinion. In his tweet, he is saying that while increased methane levels measured by Mars Curiosity are exciting as possible indicators for life, it is important to remember this is an early science result. To maintain scientific integrity, the science team will continue to analyze the data before confirming results. Also, he is saying that we don't yet know where methane on Mars comes from. A leading idea is that methane on Mars is being released from underground reservoirs created by past biology. But sometimes methane is a sign of geology rather than biology. Here on Earth, most methane comes from life, mainly from microbes in the guts of cows, but also from the decay of plant matter and other biological processes in places like wetlands. But based on this fact, we cannot confirm the existence of life on Mars. Because, as NASA admin tweeted, sometimes methane is a sign of geology rather than biology. On Earth, for instance, volcanoes produce methane. There are no currently active volcanoes on Mars, but scientists are studying the possibilities of methane being released through other geological processes as well. These processes involve reactions of carbon from carbonate rocks or CO2 gas with hydrogen from liquid water. At the right temperatures, these reactions produce methane. The methane Curiosity has been sniffing could be evidence of these reactions. On our planet, methane can come from many sources, including oil and gas systems, coal mining, landfills and wastewater, and microbial metabolism in wetland ecosystems. At the other end of the solar system, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft has found methane on Pluto. Some mountains on the dwarf planet are dusted with methane snow. Despite these facts, scientists believe that the methane on Mars can represent life on Mars. They assume that any methane detected now on Mars must have been released recently because sunlight and chemical reactions would break up the molecules of methane in Martian air within a few centuries. So they believe that the currently detected methane must have been released recently and most probably by the microbial descendants of past life which could have migrated underground and persisted. Anyway, it is also possible that the methane is ancient, trapped inside Mars for millions of years, but escaping intermittently through cracks. Scientists first reported detections of methane on Mars a decade and a half ago using measurements from Mars Express, an orbiting spacecraft built by the European Space Agency, as well as from telescopes on Earth. However, those findings were at the edge of the detection power of these tools, and many researchers thought the methane might just be a mirage of mistaken data. When Curiosity arrived on Mars in 2012, it looked for methane and found nothing, or at least less than 1 part per billion in the atmosphere. Then in 2013, it detected a sudden spike. The measurements this week found 21 parts per billion of methane, or 3 times the 2013 spike. So we can expect some major announcement from NASA soon.